we're like a premium fitness facility.
Yeah.
So there's cheaper gym memberships out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's coached. If you come in and I suggest this is going to get you what you want and this is how we're programming it, but yet you choose to ignore my advice.
Yeah.
It's on you.
No.
CrossFit and functional fitness training workouts are aerobic.
Yeah.
They should be aerobic. If the weights are too heavy for you, for them not to be aerobic, then you're never going to beat someone who's stronger than you.
What is it they'll tops off in CrossFit, by the way?
I don't take mine off because I'm bulking. I'm fat.
What is that? It doesn't help performance. If anything, it hinders it.
It does a little bit.
Ever try doing a clean with a top off?
Yeah, I like doing that. As a class coach, personal trainer, clients often come to train with injuries. What is the best approach when no professional medical advice has been given to them?
That's
You do you first.
So, what, from a physio point of view? From
All of it, yeah. Well,
athlete point
so
of
you're
view?
physio. Obviously, you're in here.
Yeah, so
Physio.
before getting into physio, in terms of from a training point of view as such, so even before that, football and etc. So, what got me into physio was before doing loads of. I used to be a decent level athlete, but believe it or not,
Football?
national standard. Well, before that, athletics was national long jump and 800 metres.
It's not a real one, but yeah,
so it's not a big deal. Essex cross country, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But now football's my main thing.
Yeah, long
as you
jumps.
know.
Yeah, stick with football.
long
Long
jump,
jump.
way
I was
more
county
SNC
badminton.
based.
No
Yeah.
one cares. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was Tiddly Wings champion. Where like back year
Cool.
11.
So yeah, decent level sport.
Decent level sport, football, but all of 1 year playing full time led to injury, which then got me into physio. Because obviously, all my time I kind of was interested in physio, playing lots of semi-professional stuff whilst I was doing my studies in physio. Played all of 1 year professionally before getting injured. But that's when I got into the S&C and lifting side of stuff. Because I was told, yeah, you need surgery, you need this, you need whatever. So took a year out, went into professional sport as a physio. So that would be in the Mighty Shrimpers days. But that's what got me
Who days?
Southend Giant
Okay.
Shrimpers, mate.
Okay.
But that's what got me into heavy lifting. So I used to do a bit of gym stuff anyway, because I was always, I don't know what you like, but I was madly obsessed with not losing weight because I was a runner and all my mates were rugby mates. I always wanted to put weight on. So lifting from like year 11 onwards was big for me. And it did actually help in terms of then getting to professional football and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it built me up. I used to play like centre off, holding centre mid. And that's what made me that
you
next
get into
level.
it.
Yeah. But in terms of the actual Olympic lifting and proper strength and conditioning, it's kind of off my own back. When I went to work in professional sport and being around it, I worked with people like a guy called Mark Williams, Ben Clarkson, who was the physio then, and all kind of high-level S&C people.
Yeah.
And you just kind of, because you're doing it with the players, I'm like, well, why don't I just like start doing it myself, like in part-time? And that's what led into all the kind of your classic deadlift, squat, all that kind of stuff, and took me into the strength powerlifting stuff. Off the back of that, led me into CrossFit stuff, because then I got interested in, as I was saying to you before, there's that guy, Richard Tidmarsh, I used to watch on YouTube, done stuff with a lot of rugby players, was all the, it wasn't CrossFit, but it was CrossFit-esque stuff.
Yeah.
Chucking in heavy thrusters in terms of high intensity workouts, started picking some of his stuff. And as I started doing that, some little albino kid turned up for some CrossFit classes in Lehman Fitness when I was training there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, i.e. yourself.
Yeah.
To then start doing some CrossFit classes. Then that got me into training with Brendan, and then I kind of...
So when did you have, you got a physio clinic now though, right? So you're Essex Physio.
Yeah, so off the back
So when
of
did you get that? You work in football, Southend first?
Yeah. So in terms of the physio clinic stuff, so worked with Southend that was what, 2010, 2011. So I was there for about 2 or 3 seasons.
Learnt your craft.
Learnt my craft, learnt that football was good, but it's not a lifelong thing to do physio-wise. You couldn't kind of have a family do it. It's one of those things, it's like everyone sees it as like the best job as a physio is working in professional sport. The realistic side of it is you go into it, it's you're in 7 days a week.
Yeah.
All year, because when the players are off, you're in rehabbing all the players and you just get pulled around. Not loads of money in it. People think you go into football and you get paid loads of money. Nah, not at all.
Yeah. No, guys doing the mindset stuff for teams getting paid nothing.
No. Yeah, S&C coaches and
for like
physios.
proper professional team and stuff.
You're sitting in a meeting with like, you've got all these football coaches, the gaff, this, that, and the other. You're the most qualified person in the room. And they just completely jump all over you.
So they've broken then most of the season, footballers and stuff.
Yeah, constantly.
Bad technique.
Yeah. Well, no, do you know what? It's the problem with footballers is that they don't buy into all the S&C stuff. You know, so you look at rugby, and you don't get that many compared to football, like the big ACL kind of injuries and stuff like that, because they're all conditioned. You know, you get all the traumatic stuff, concussions, shoulders and whatnot. But long-term stuff, because they buy into it and they're S&C based, they kind of prevent the injury.
So you done sport, you got a physio clinic.
Yeah, so now we run...
Anything else?
Oh, well, talk about physio clinic.
Yeah.
It's Physiotherapy Essex Limited, not Essex Physio, which you keep posting all over social media.
Yeah.
That's somewhere else in Chelmsford, just for a start. So yeah, I kind of come out of football,
done that.
Bought the clinic off a couple of guys, and then we've built it from them, really.
Now you're now one we work with.
And now meeting with people like you, just working with members and other local sports teams and this, that and the other, and just do it all privately now.
So, you know, like, I know that you done better stuff than that, like when you was Hot Boyfriend. Heat magazine? Is it Heat magazine?
Heat magazine. Also of the year,
yes, that's better. It's annoying that you actually done alright in it and come third or fourth or some shit.
Yeah, it's not
because there's less bants.
I don't like.
I wanted you to sort of lose, but your dad must have been really proud.
Yeah,
was that like a proud dad moment, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm pretty sure my dad doesn't even know I've done it.
Well done, son.
I'm pretty sure he don't even know about it.
No, it's good. So I like that side of you more.
What, the Tulsa of the year?
Than your intelligence, yeah.
Yeah, just a bit where you just take the piss out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty more stuff.
Cool. So you're physio, I'm gym owner, right? So Artemis gym, functional fitness gym, was a CrossFit gym. Not so much anymore.
I was going to ask you about that, actually. What do you actually advertise? Because I know, obviously, the CrossFit stuff, when all that went on over COVID, that a lot of the affiliations left. Yeah. And you were one of them.
Yeah.
Do you still advertise it? Because have some of them gone back now? Or is that all brushed under the carpet? All that?
Well, I don't know. Some people might have gone back. Some might have seen value in it. But yeah, essentially, we're just functional fitness. Same sort of thing, different in name, but yeah, functional fitness. We still like to compete in all like the functional fitness competitions. But but background about me. So we've had the gym now 6 years. 6 years. So I've been coaching there for 6 years now. Probably competitively training 5 years, I'd say. So probably the first year was still sort of training recreationally.
Did you do a bit with Brendan to start with?
Yeah, I was in it for a partnership then. So we had about a year getting into it. Then I sort of started to jack up my training. So I like to compete in that sport, in the functional fitness sport. Programming, head programmer there. So I've been programming now like for 6 years, classes, British weightlifting qualified coach, grind it out, competitions. So just like owner of that.
So
personal
is that a
trainer.
Business, the grind it out?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, grind it out. So we provide like a platform for competitions and stuff. Most of them are all functional fitness competitions now. Not a lot of them are CrossFit licensed, excuse me. Functional fitness is what most of them are.
CrossFit license.
You can get licensed events now. So there you get to be licensed as a CrossFit competition, you have to apply for it. So the majority of competitions, have to pay for it? Yeah, the majority of competitions that are out there are functional fitness competitions because they can't be called anything else. You're not allowed to be
more
called
High Roxy stuff and bits like that now. Or is that just them doing a separate thing themselves?
High Rocks is getting popular now. You can be a High Rocks gym now.
Can you?
Yeah.
So is that is High Rocks now what CrossFit is as a sport, if you like? All I saw High Rocks was just some event that people were doing, but is that now trained up to be a...
You can now affiliate as a High Rocks gym. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's popular. I think it's more to the masses that.
Do you know what? I think they've to
the masses more.
Do you think they've done that because it's less technical than CrossFit?
Yeah, there's no skill element to it.
So I think it's easier for people to
transition into it.
Yeah, you're seeing more of the jacked up social media people get into that, aren't you?
Yeah, like if you're fit and strong,
you'll do all right.
Go for it. Yeah, you'll do all right. Yeah.
Nice, mate.
That's
but competition wise, yourself, what's the kind of peak you've got to at the minute? Is it kind of in your late years you've done better, or is it in the early years?
No, we're doing right now. So I'm what they call masters athlete.
Old, yeah.
Yeah, old basically.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm in like the first tier at the moment, like 35 to 39. So yeah, we're doing that. But yeah, I'm probably top 300 in the world at the moment.
Not big
fall
deal,
into that category. Not big deal.
Not quite.
Don't get me wrong, that's a big...
it's not Heat Torso of the Year, but
it's a big... I ain't Heat Torso of the Year. Now, we've got a couple of people in our gym. Our older guys are probably our more high levels. We've got
Yeah, who
three of us that are masters that are all top 300 worldwide.
Who's that?
Joe is.
Oh yeah, cool. I didn't think that
Coach
for me.
Joe,
Yeah,
and then a lady called Michelle. She's like top 300 in her age category. They're both in the same one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've also got adaptive
athlete
Lucy, who's like top 5 on average, I'd say.
Good credentials to have in the gym, mate.
Yeah, sorry, you get experience. I mean, from the programming side of things, I like to train as if we was like CrossFit Games bound almost, because it's fun. Like when the sport started, it was very much low budget, barbell, rig, that's it. So if you wanted to be good locally, get massive, move a barbell, be able to do pull-ups. Don't need to be able, they never used to have handstand push-ups or things like that because there was no like funding in it, so there was no money in it. So initially it was that. So if you wanted to train to be good at that stuff, you could basically get rid of so much variation in your training.
Yeah,
you could just bin it all off. No point in running, no point in any of this stuff. Just be like an absolute weapon with a barbell. But now as it's progressed, it's getting more interesting, so that you can, I like to train like really varied. So we have like strongman stuff from like everything. But even when we do the open stuff, Games Open, the first stage is very like open to all, like accessible. It's really accessible, the first bit. But then when you get to the next stage, they start to bring in a little bit more niche stuff, and that's how we train. And we tend to really jump up the leaderboard. Like when we get to people that get to the second stage, seem to like really like progress. So
what's that stage called now?
That's the quarterfinals,
right?
Yeah, quarterfinals now, and then semis and stuff.
What used to be the regionals almost.
Yeah. So in Masters, you only get online variations.
Yeah.
For the games, which is annoying. But there's some big competitions which we've done. Like a couple of us have done strength in depth and Lowlands Throwdown and
so
European
with
champs.
Your programming for the gym, then do you base it around when the Open and that comes around? Because we had this discussion before.
Yeah.
How on earth, in terms of the people I treat that you send to me, it's very much a case of most of them will come in with an injury, like, by the way, I've got competition in 2 weeks, you know. But to me, it seems like there's just constant competition all year round.
Yeah, there can be now.
How on earth, because there's so much in CrossFit and there's so many different events that you don't know what's going to be in it.
You can't.
How do you program
have to pick.
that?
You have to pick. Like the big competitions will go around the game CrossFit season. So there'll be round when people are fit, like when they're getting ready to be fit.
Yeah.
That's when the big competitions come up. So you can plan your season around that. So we plan it around the Open. Well, I plan it around the Open. So we have really like strength focused cycles, like probably for, 4 months at a time. To run 4 months strength. Then we do like another 4 months like hybrid, like bridging the gap, sort of a little bit more fitness, still strength, like maybe hypertrophy, sort of bodybuilding sort of style. So still bit strengthy, but a little bit more intensity to it. And then we go into like absolute meltdown mode of like fitness.
Just kind of really varying it up.
Because to be good at like CrossFit, you've almost got to not do CrossFit for most of the time. You work the elements of it. You get strong, and then like doing workouts, often you're doing them at percentages that are non-beneficial to you. If anything, they're going to make you weaker. You're going to like burn muscle and all that sort of stuff because it's too heavy, it's too like stuff. So you sort of build strength first. Well, that's how I program now, is we get as strong as we can. Then you get fit.
Condition.
And then you just spend most of your time being strong.
But it's interesting you say that, because in terms of when I see amateurs, and we're talking about literally people who've walked into it, got into it in the first 6 months, they really find it hard to get that concept or that. And this is where the social media stuff affects it, because they go on and see all the top games athletes smashing a WOD every week or doing this or doing that. They don't see all that boring nitty-gritty bit. They don't see the program that comes with it. So I get them coming into me and they're doing like Murph every week, plus this,
so much hype on the HIIT workouts. Like, and it's such a, like, as a gym owner, the selling point, like, you want a business. Ultimately, I've got a business, so I need to bring people in, and it is fun doing it, but it's not the thing that's going to make you like be an absolute weapon at it. Like, it's the other stuff.
No, without it, but it's
structured like that. It's hard, but selling that to people are like,
it's not cool.
Nope.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They want to see 6 times a week. It's like, no, mate.
They want to be chucking their guts up and not lifting that last barbell every session.
Do it twice,
and you can't do it because at the minute, how many in terms of your program? How many kind of that zone 4 type training sessions would you do even in a week for yourself? No. Not a lot, would you?
No, I'm doing 1 a week.
Yeah,
which
exactly,
because I'm like strength in. Mm-hmm. I tend to do like long, like zone 2 stuff because like over time you build a foundation of fitness anyway, which I have.
The zone 2 stuff, yeah,
and that just keeps it where it needs to be.
Yeah,
because I'm not focusing on getting fit.
No,
I'm just focusing on almost just I'm going to lose fitness as I get a bit stronger. But then like the thing is like strength takes time, right? So when I wanted people to sort of come to me and ask about training to be competitive and where would you put or like all your eggs, where would you focus on? And it'd be strength the whole way. Be as absolute strong as you could. Like that's what you got to focus everything on. Skill work, strength work, like barbells, Olympic lifting. Be an absolute monster because that's the stuff that takes time.
Yeah.
Like it takes years to get strong.
Yeah.
The fitness side of things, in terms of everything else, that's the easy bit. Like you have to get stuck in and it's like mentally hard. That's the thing that comes the quickest. And
I find strength is, again, the regression of it.
Yeah.
If you don't train it, say you get yourself to a level and just do maintenance, you have to do it.
Yeah.
I find with the engine work, the cardio stuff, you can tick that over easier.
Yeah.
Even just by going out and doing zone 2 stuff, which is literally minimal effort, is enough to maintain aerobic capacity sort of work. Whereas strength stuff, you drop off that for a week or two. I notice it in my own training. If I don't squat for a couple of weeks, if I don't bench or whatever, those sessions, that drops off quick.
Yeah.
So I'd agree with you, and especially the way CrossFit is, it's definitely strength bias in a lot of the stuff now in terms of, it depends what event you go into, I suppose, but if you can lift heavier, you're generally going to do better because again...
Well, everything, CrossFit and functional fitness training workouts are aerobic.
Yeah.
They should be aerobic. If the weights are too heavy for you, for them not to be aerobic, then you're never going to beat someone who's stronger than you.
No.
Because you're pumping it at 80% of your 1 rep max.
Yeah.
And they're doing it at 40% of their 1 rep max.
Hence why you can watch Eddie Hall go in and do grace and beat all the CrossFit athletes, even though he's not a CrossFit athlete. But he'll do rubbish and everything else. But and he's just pure strong athlete, isn't he?
Does it in under a minute. It's anaerobic. Sorted. Doesn't matter.
I don't think you can
anything in a minute.
Ground to overhead. It's just purely, it's almost a snatch, isn't it, what he does?
Yeah. But had some questions here. We asked for some questions and stuff, didn't we? So let me do some stuff for you.
We did ask for some questions. I won't repeat some of them.
Yeah, some of them we're not answering.
Some of them are quite tricky, actually, from a physio point of view. There was one that I found, if I can remember it.
Let's have a look.
It might have been Joe who said, how do I approach... or from a coach's point of view, if someone's got an underlying injury...
There you go, I'll answer it. I'll ask it for you.
Yeah, go on.
Then it's a conversation and then we'll do it.
It was interesting.
Yeah, so this is another coach, and there was another... she's another woman like in the gym, another member. So is of similar sort of things. As a class coach, personal trainer, this is... clients often come to train with injuries. What is the best approach when no professional medical advice has been given to them to pass on to me? So they're turning in like blind, basically, like they've diagnosed themselves. My knee hurts.
Yeah. And this is where it becomes really tricky.
So what would you do as a professional?
So again, from my point of view, it's easy because I'm a professional in that instance to diagnose it and know what's going on.
Well, that's what I'd be saying first. If it's something's bothering you,
so
go and see a professional about it.
Exactly. And this is where you've got to kind of, and it's difficult from a coach's point of view. And again, general PT point of view, because you see people do it. That's when you've got to go, oh, right, now I want this person to come in and do sessions, but at the same time, I want the sessions to be good.
Because it's a business, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to just keep turning people around saying, stop.
You don't want to be like, nah, do you know what? Until you've got a full signed off medical from your GP, you can't do it. Being realistic, that's where you've got to be honest with the clientele. And I think they appreciate that. It got me thinking, actually, when I saw that, in terms of going forward, because I don't know if you have to do it, do you have to get them sign waivers and stuff like that before they can? Yeah.
You have to say, like, when we do it, you've got to be signed off GP.
Like
you
most,
can train. Yeah. And if you're unsure, then you need to speak to them and then find out.
Yeah.
Because
this is where
we have a go.
It could come good from my point of view, whether there was two things, and again, logistically, it gets tricky. As we used to do with all the athletes in football, start season before, whether it's new players, whatever, we'd do a functional movement screen on them. So there's about 4 or 5 different movements, something like an overhead squat, say like a box step up, this, that. Assess them, assess the weaknesses, even without any niggles going on, and then give them a program to do away from the gym to stop them getting injuries going forward. So I was thinking about that, is like either having something in place saying if you're new, maybe you have to go and just get this functional movement assessment before, so we can get feedback in terms of what we can and cannot do. Or if I can go in and do a seminar or a day's training with the coaches, how to do the functional movement scheme, what to look for, and then how to implement it to make sure going forward that there's going to be no issues and stuff like that.
But like, so when you say that, if I was like, it's just my go-to anyway, seek professional advice. If you're interested. But then like we do see common things, right? So because we've been doing it a long time, we see there's a common thread sometimes of people that have certain niggles, and there are things that we can adjust and things. And basically, as long as I'm thinking that they're pain-free whilst they're doing whatever they're doing, then I tend to do that. But if they start doing pain, then just tell them to avoid pain. That's basically how we do it.
It's easy for me to say because you've got all the coaches in Artemis aren't idiots. You know, they're not stupid enough to go, oh yeah, no, we're just going to crack on anyway. You know, first thing you'd probably do is message me, and then I'll either talk you through it or say, get them to come and see me. Like, look,
and everyone's adults, right? You have to sort of people like there could be plenty of people in there not telling you what's wrong with them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I sort of feel
there
like
are PTs and people like that out there that will naturally just kind of think, oh yeah, it'll be all right, and then crack on with it. But really, the true way to go to it is just be like, okay, we'll work around it. In the meantime, I want you to go and see physio just to give me some insight in terms of what I can and cannot do. But that's where we got the nice relationship. I've seen a couple of people that are under Joe. Obviously, I'll see plenty under you. And we're just back and forth in, oh, can we do this week? Yeah, absolutely fine. Or if I've seen them in terms of treatment session, they're ready to move on to that. And then you just build up, as long as the communication's there.
Yeah.
Because me relying on the patient telling you what's going on is, definitely not a good idea. I've seen that so many times. You're like, oh yeah, don't do this, write all down for them. Yeah. They take it in, oh, I forgot my bit of paper, but he said I could do this. Yeah. And then it all goes Pete Tong.
Yeah. It moves into another one we've got here. What do you do when you get conflicting advice referencing injuries? Who to listen to? Well, I'd say if that was like, it could be members, that could be coaches, that could be anything, it could be physios, couldn't it? Like, I think listen to the professional first. So you got conflicting over someone in a gym.
Yeah.
That's just training there. That's been beat up and smashed up and that will never ever stop doing what they do. Perhaps they're not the one to listen to. Do you know what I mean? Like listen to the physio, the person who's got professional advice. But then say you got two physios.
Yeah, and
different diagnosis. It's hard, right?
That's where it gets difficult, isn't it? Yeah.
Listen to both of them.
I was going to say, you'd like to think...
Pick your favourite.
Yeah, best looking one,
best
probably.
One.
Yeah.
Torso, whichever one. Cheaper? Whoever's cheaper.
Cheaper, yeah. Freebie, yeah. It's funny, though, you should say that, because there's been, with someone that you know well, I'm not going to name names, but this kind of has happened recently from my point of view in terms of someone I was seeing. My advice is always go and see a professional, you know. If it's kind of, I'm talking to an orthopaedic surgeon or... I don't know, just a personal trainer, one around gym, I'm going to listen to the orthopaedic surgeon, right?
Shit muncher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
normal shit muncher or like, wizard.
But yeah, and it's perfect because I was, again, someone I was seeing powerlifter for their shoulder, this, that, and the other. And then it got to a point where I suggested getting a second opinion on it with a view, maybe like cortisone, but I want you to go and see a specialist. Anyway, had a chat with I think they're a massage therapist. He said, no, don't need cortisone injection. We'll massage it out. It'll be fine. Within 2 weeks, trying to get him up on his social media, giving testimonials and all this kind of stuff. Long story short, I was just like, nah, fine, wipe my hands of it. I've offered you. It was a free consultation with. I was like, you crack on. We're 2 months down the line. He's now not competing. He's now not benching. He's now having to go and get this, that, and the other on it. And I'm just like,
people are allowed to do what they want to do, aren't they? But like, if they're not going to listen to it, like exactly. They're not to listen to advice. It's up to them.
Yeah. And I'm not going to badmouth what the other person said. I'm like, it's your decision.
Yeah.
I'm never going to turn and say I told you so or anything like that. No. But at the same time, that's when you just step back and be like, you're your own person. If that's what you believe, I can only give you the advice that I've given.
We have that in the same sort of scenario in gyms.
Yeah.
Like, we're like a premium fitness facility.
Yeah.
So there's cheaper gym memberships out there. Mm-hmm. It's coached. If you come in and I suggest this is going to get you what you want and this is how we're programming it, but yet you choose to ignore my advice.
Yeah.
It's on you.
No,
it's up to you.
That's exactly
like
why
you're paying for me to tell you this. So to me, it don't compute. I'm like that. Well, why are you here then?
Well, it's
go and pay 10 quid and go down JD.
And the difficulty is what you don't want off that. It's nothing to do with business. You don't want them to go around and then say, "Oh yeah, no, I went in. We weren't worth the money," and blah blah blah. And then
or someone else looks at them and goes, "They're always broken."
Yeah, exactly.
They go to that gym.
Yeah,
so, but I do tell them not to do any of the stuff they're doing.
Exactly, but at the same, and that's exactly why. That's most of the reason why physios write notes now. You know, we want to know what's going on, but we just cover our arse. We do it. So if someone goes out and says, like, well, actually, now I've got it all written down here. This is exactly what I told you.
Yeah.
You've not listened. So I don't know if you need to do any of that from a personal training point of view. Do you write notes about anything? Or it's not a bad practice to get into. It's a right ball ache.
For what?
Say you had a PT session with someone who you went through everything. You said, had a little subjective bit at the before and after, said, advise of this client, don't push, don't do this, just to make a note of it. Because if they go away and say, oh, well, you said I could go and run a half marathon at the weekend, you're like, well, actually, now I've referred back and I didn't advise that. Just to cover your ass, you know.
Yeah.
This is why most of the reason physios write notes now, because you've got to cover yourself.
Yeah.
Because you will get people like it and then they'll blame you.
No. Yeah.
But it's not necessarily, you've been honest. You just don't want them to then go and tell everyone else that make you look shit, even though it's not. And it's hard not to have a nibble on it.
It is hard. It is hard not to have a nibble.
I've learned over time. It's one out of a very large amount of patients and stuff like that. So it very rarely happens. But just step back and don't get involved in it. It's just not worth it. But in terms of the original question, I'd always say go and see a professional. But some people are just not gonna. They come to the physio room sometimes, and they are telling me what's wrong with them just because of Google. And whatever I tell them otherwise, whether it's right or wrong, they won't listen to it. Yeah, and I've learned never fight those patients. But okay, it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. What else have I got on here?
Yeah.
Old people training. I've got.
There's a load of old people training ones.
I feel like I'm good at old people.
I was going to say that would be your special geriatric training.
Yeah. Although I'm not super old yet. Well, I can see the themes that come across.
Look super old.
Like I say, I know. And we've got older athletes like of a decent level.
Yeah, you have actually.
So, touching at the beginning, like even just without training aside, old people need resistance training more so than ever.
Strong evidence on that.
Than ever. Yeah, than ever. I mean, ever than when you were younger.
Yep.
Like, because when you're younger, if you get injured, you heal quick. As you get older, that gets less and less and less. Your muscle mass reduces just as a rule because of that's the way we're made and that's nature. There's no fighting that, no matter how strong, how big you are, sort of thing. So where we put the focus in now is I'm already adjusting my training. Like as I'm getting older, the extremes of what I'm doing in my training is getting even more extreme. So whereas when I first started, I could strength train and fitness train at like big volumes and get away with it, still get stronger, be fitter. You can't do that as you get older, because there's less and less effects. So as I do that now, nothing happens. Like I don't get stronger, I don't get fitter.
You almost have the opposite probably.
So the strength side of things just becomes almost like 80-90% of what you should be focusing on, like resistance training. Like it's going to help you, it's going to bulletproof you as best you can in terms of like injury prevention. And because you just want to set yourself up like in good stead for it is going to get less.
Well, people just assume that doing heavy lifting, getting big, you're just going to walk around as a big and you're going to smash your joints. It's like realistically, all that evidence shows is exactly what you said. It kind of prevents the effects of aging,
it's going to protect
increases circulation, reduces kind of diabetes, osteoporosis, all this kind of stuff that you get in terms of if you looked at a classic car, if you kind of keep running it in the correct way for years and years, it's going to last forever. If you stop it and leave it, it's going to deteriorate quicker. So again, in terms of old generations, maintaining and doing the strength work isn't going to negatively affect joints. What will negatively affect your joints is if you don't do anything.
So as I was saying, I just try and shift the focus. If I'm trying to, I'd say like if someone's training 5 times a week, I would be doing at least like 3-4 of those sessions would be strength-based sessions.
Just change your program.
I don't need to be hammering it. Once, twice a week, like hit intervals is enough. Like it's enough. You don't need to do 5-6 days a week of like ridiculous volume now, because where the sport goes now and the class goes is the ability of people now is the rep ranges and the volume that you achieve in some of these workouts are big. It's a lot. It's a lot. And to ask someone who's like 50, 60-year-old to start doing that sort of volume, it's never going to be a positive effect. So you just
but
that
that's
one
strength
strength
where you're kind of.
So we try and we
in
accommodate that at our gym. So we have our functional fitness thing. So when we go through our strength cycles, for instance, so our first one, when we're strength focused, 5 days a week, 2 of those days a week won't have a HIIT workout in them. So that's like, there's only 3 that like for everyone. But then on top of that, if you wanted to come in and not hit even less than that, you could do Olympic lifting, bodybuilding, gymnastics. Almost every day you could do 6 sessions a week and not touch a workout. So like when people are getting older, it's that same old thing again, that people like the HIIT workout. So and they do it over everything. They'll do it over everything, no matter how old they are. They think that's the thing that does the job.
But again, the evidence shows that actually lifting weights, and again, I advocate both sorts of training, but strength training increases the effects on the cardiovascular system at an old age as well. So actually it has just as much benefit as doing all that kind of stuff, but it takes the intensity side of it out, which is going to cause injury and this, that, and the other.
You have to know what you're doing it for, right? If you're doing it for fit and health, you don't need to smash yourself into the ground 5 times a week. If you're doing it for like competition, there's a time when you need to hammer down and do more than what you really want to do. But that ain't all year round.
But again,
that's like 6 weeks, and you're done. Like 6 to 8 weeks.
You look at CrossFit on social media, because everyone's going to base it off social media. Now. If they don't go to a thing, they're going to assume that CrossFit is the CrossFit Games every week. And that's what they think it is, and it's not. And that's more kind of with education and knowledge. Then when you meet someone like yourself, and they're like, "No, this is it," and then they're like, "Oh, okay." But that's how they think they should approach it, because they see that one guy who's still in his 60s smashing the CrossFit Games and assume that they can do it. That's like the top 0.1% of people in the population. He's just a ninja who, has got some superhuman genes, but realistically.
They ain't training the way they think they're training.
Exactly. And that's someone who's doing it probably full time as well. We're talking about someone, and that's
the athletes. This thing, it's a job. It's a job in itself. Like even for me, I'm like twice a day, 3-4 times a week. But that's not like doing it for 4 hours, because you need to break it up for rest, for sleep, for fueling, all that sort of stuff. So not many people can accommodate that sort of training. These
CrossFit Games athletes, they are full-time athletes. That is them 24/7. As much as you see them working out, most of what they're doing is resting and recovering properly, which people like you and me won't be doing, because I've got a 2-year-old daughter. I've got to go to work. I've got to do this. I've got to do that, So realistically, and again, when you look at everything outside of it, everyone thinks that, right, I'm going to go in, lift heavy, and that's what's giving me my back injury. There's way more evidence and everything say actually genetics affects more than anything in terms of injury prevention. Being sedentary affects it even more than that, and then lifestyle in terms of work. All these things have way greater effect than someone lifting with bad form. But they're all just going to put it down to lifting bad form, not all this other stuff. So really, it's like you're not a CrossFit Games out. You've got to manage all the other stuff outside the gym better in order to kind of prevent injuries, perform well. But it's just, you got to be realistic about it, It's not saying, all right, you've got to drop work and then have no money and then be a full-time athlete.
Like me.
No
money.
Millionaire, mate, gym owner.
Do you get any questions? Well, what things you got? You got any questions from people?
Not, I'd nick the ones that were off the Q&A,
Oh, okay. We'll keep going through
that. The main question that I had for you was how you managed to program for people with events all year round, and not have really there is a season, but that's more kind of CrossFit Games.
We do it around. Well, you have to pick something, otherwise you end up in the middle ground of never training for anyone.
Do you tell your clients to, if again they've got an event but they do classes, you program stuff outside of classes that they need to adhere to in their own time to try and gain focus? I suppose people have different focuses.
What do you mean? Like,
so say that they want to increase.
There's a competition coming up.
And they want to work their clean and jerk, for example. But in terms of the program you're doing for the group, it doesn't follow that same criteria. Would you say that they have to do anything separately to focus on that, or how do you kind of get about that?
No,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to get around it.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah, it becomes really bespoke then. But you got like. And then loads of people in the gym all doing different things. Yeah, like you do one-to-one and stuff, but like if you're really serious about it and you are competing, then you just got to take it for what it is, because you can't always keep putting your programs on hold, competing every other month or every other weekend, because you'll never get anywhere. Because you need to, when you compete properly, like to your full capabilities, you need to have like a week off every time. Every time. And then you got to like build and peak and all that sort of stuff. You can't be at the top the whole time. And there has to be peaks and troughs. Like there has to be. No one's at the top forever. Yeah. Like you have to, I think there's a question here on like motivation and stuff.
I was going to say, because
staying motivated, and that's like part of it. Is like, I think you have to realise that being not motivated is part of it.
Yeah.
Like it's going to come, and if you're realistic that you know that you're not going to be like raring to get in the gym and crush it every time, straight away, it's easier to be like, it's all right. Because next day is another day. Like tomorrow, next week's another week. I'll feel better next week for whatever reason. It can help you stay on top of it, and especially when we do these program cycles now, it's so much easier to get jacked up for something if it's you can see the end of it.
Yeah.
It's a short term goal. Do you know what I mean? If you're like, right, we've got 8 weeks of like this strength cycle. Boom, and then we're going to start like moving a little bit. It's like, okay, so I'm all in on this 8 weeks, even if you don't really like it or it's getting really hard.
But
you're like, it's going to change in 2 weeks. Who cares? Instead of like being like, I'm going to crush myself for 8 months fitness.
But we've done it in terms of when we've not had a goal, and you talk to me like, what are you doing? Training? We're like, well, I'm just doing this, doing that. But you kind of tell by how the persona is. You're just like, well, I'm doing it, but I don't really know why I'm doing it.
Yeah, you learn from it. Yeah,
and that's where the demotivation comes.
And then when it's coming to that competition, it's like, right, now it's time to get fit.
Yeah,
it's easy to go, all right, let's get fit.
Oh, without a doubt.
And no, after I'm getting fit, I get to chill the fuck out.
That's the trick to it. Is with your clients is that short-term goal setting, because I find it with patients as well. You know, say you got someone through a long-term rehab process, and their end goal is, I want to get back to snatching. I'm like, right, but you can't do this, and that. The short-term set and say, right, we're going to get you to do a strict.
But it's the same, right? You have to accept the injury.
Yeah, that's
going to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to grow from it. No one's goes through never hurting anything, never getting injured. You learn from it, and then you build from it.
And that's the difficulty with CrossFit, is it's not, compared to any other sport, it's not just getting someone back to, lifting overhead in the gym. It's getting someone back to doing a highly technical movement overhead, and then doing it for volume, intensity, under fatigue. And unless you've got knowledge in CrossFit from doing it and understanding it as a sport, because it don't follow any other pattern of any other sport when you're rehabbing people back to it, So it's all right saying, I'm going to get you back to, I don't know, say a snatch, for example, but in competition, you might be doing 30 snatches at a lighter weight. So that's just not getting someone back to doing a snatch. Number one, it's a really complex move anyway. Then you've got to kind of, on top of that, think, I'm not just getting you back to that, I'm getting you to then make it bulletproof so you can then sustain the volume, the training, this, that, and the other, which is a whole different kettle of fish. And you kind of have to get into the head, we're like, right, we're going to do this in steps. We're going to get you behind the neck pressing, strip pressing with the bar to start with. Then we're going to work on kind of some snatch band stuff. Then we're going to work on some, and then go through the process rather than then think about doing the stuff. And
it's hard to keep motivated. It is, like I say, if you can accept it, that it's just part of the process.
Problem is
it's so much easier to swallow.
Problem is with CrossFitters, they're like, when I treat my ultra marathon runners, it's just mentally they're obsessed with it. Just, which is good.
They got grit, like they got that real grit.
You need it to do that type of, and it work, and it's good from my point of view.
David Goggins.
Exactly. Which
I was shouting that at my last competition at the people I was training with.
Were
yeah.
You bitch.
Who's going to carry the boats? So it was showing,
lap weight, baby.
You've got to get into it, get into it.
But that's it. But there's also got to be a bit of kind of common sense in there as well. And that's the hard bit to kind of get into.
There's a time for that. You've got to be able to switch that on.
Yeah.
It's like, and they do it in all sports, don't they? Like, you take the piss out of me, but I turn my hat around like this.
Yeah, go into ninja mode,
That's ninja mode. That's like ninja mode. That's like game time. What else does it? Lewis, they do it at Lewis Hamilton, don't they? You watch Formula 1, didn't you?
Yeah.
So when they, because I had like a bit of mental, like sports, like psychology stuff, like helping with competing and stuff at one stage, and about getting geared up and like that final little, like when you got to go, like you got to push and all that sort of stuff. And he has it. I think they say like it's go time or something for Hamilton over the radio.
Yeah.
And that's like when he's like,
it goes into.
He's just because they're always on like holding back, aren't they, and doing stuff. And he just fucking hammers it, just goes for it.
Oh, all of them.
And it's that switch, that mental switch that you need. Like that grit is great.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to turn it on.
I think
rather than just like fuck, because it can fuck you up as much as it can help you.
The best I've seen it, completely different sport, but is Tiger Woods in golf. you know, in terms of complete different sport, but all that adrenaline, he always talked about kind of like 3 steps from the ball. That's his zone, you know. From then on, nothing else happens. And you can see it in him when he and that's why he was so good for so long, because he had that ability to go take it all in, then all of a sudden, bang, that's it. As soon as I step across that line, that's it. That's
you watched the rugby the other week? Johnny Wilkinson was demoing a kick.
Yeah, Johnny, have you read his book?
And he was wanging on about it, and I thought he was boring.
Now, have you ever read his book? He used to suffer.
Someone's going like, going.
He used to suffer with loads of anxiety, even like when he was a schoolboy. He used to throw up before games and everything, didn't he? And you look at him kind of doing the drop kick at the World Cup, you're like, no way do you suffer with confidence.
Yeah.
Mate, he's the most nervous person on that pitch.
Yeah.
But he managed to kind of get his head around it by developing a strategy. Brilliant. It works, you know? Oh, his book, you've got to read it.
So motivating. Oh, punch that.
Yeah. So
motivation, I'd say like short-term goals.
Yep.
So, not expect like, even for whatever it is, if it's food or whatever you're on, you can't cut for indefinitely. Yep. Like you can't bulk indefinitely. There's got to be like a short-term break for like mindset, body, all of it. And the same with training. Yeah, same with training. You can't strength train forever and expect to keep like making gains. You need to like plateau, maintenance, all that sort of stuff. So being realistic and breaking it up would be a good one. For
and also, like you said, understanding that being demotivated is part of the process. You know, it's normal to feel that way.
Yeah.
What
else is there? Boring ones, funny ones.
Go on. Actually, there's some funny ones that couldn't really be read out.
Dictator. Favourite dictator.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, no comment.
Important to look good over the quality of effort in training you do.
Yeah, really important. Yeah. Who goes to the gym without putting makeup on, eh?
Yeah. He looks like, this bloke does this as well. He looks like he's like kitted out from the sales bin.
Have I not met this one yet? Has he been
Adam? His name's Adam, like me. So he's got a good name.
So it sounds.
But he loves like clothes that look like straight out of the sales bin.
Oh really? Which is very
neon.
It's very non-CrossFit-y.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, he's
I'm
not.
I'm surprised he had any clothes on. If
he doesn't conform to normal things. What is it?
They'll tops off in CrossFit, by the way.
Huh? I don't take mine off because I'm bulking. I'm
fat. Why is that? It doesn't help performance. If anything, it hinders it.
It does a little bit.
Ever try doing a clean with a top off?
Yeah, I like doing that. I don't know with top off. I'm trying to think if there's anything that's beneficial. Just gets hot. Handstand walks upside down. He's annoying with a t-shirt on because it goes over your face.
That's the only thing I can think of. There's no other movement for me. Else? If anything, do you know when you said it cools you down? I feel having a wet t-shirt on actually cools you down more than taking your top off. That's what we're showing it.
Handstands. Yeah, I think that's it.
Is there a limit how
who's
long
that?
you have to keep your top on before you're allowed to take it off?
That's a very good point, actually.
Some people rock up. I've had people rock up before the class started and took their top off.
That's just ridiculous.
He's not a member anymore.
Nah. I mean, but you're right. I like that. Simon Break's a good one to kind of work off because he's kind of very specific with his timings, I think, in terms of top off stuff. He's a good one to go by.
Yeah.
You should do that. It could be a study.
He likes fizzy water as well. He'll grab a fizzy water.
Oh, fizzy water,
unnecessarily, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unnecessary things like you see people chalk bucket, where people that lack grit, let's say that.
Oh,
they have
they use
coping mechanisms,
Yeah. The
chalk,
distraction.
Fizzy water.
Yep.
Hair.
Yeah. Oh, putting the weights back on the bar a bit.
Checking the clips that are fine.
That's it. Yeah.
They haven't moved anywhere.
Yeah.
Any others, Lloyd? What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Taking a knee.
I always go, take a knee, take a knee and go.
Yeah, or you just like, I just need to check the reps again.
Clock look.
I just need to check. I need to check what was it? Box jumps next. All right, yeah. I've only done 10 rounds, but I still don't know.
Yeah.
Look how many rounds. Look how many reps.
Yeah. Was that 8 or was that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's that.
Check the time.
Yeah.
Do the math again. Figure out. How under you're going to be. How over.
Yeah. What are you doing with your phone out in class? Oh, no, just do some math. Just.
Topics discussion. We got a few more questions, but why don't we like topics discussion, which I want to talk about practicing what you preach.
Yeah.
Discuss. Yeah. As a physio, let's do it as a physio.
So as a physio, because
you train as well.
I was going to say.
So you turn up, mate. Knees fucked.
I've got really good
tendonitis under your knees.
I've got a really good example of
when
we'd done the
strap up
mobility stuff in Jan where I done my back. That was a perfect example of not practicing what you preach. So when I go on and bang on about the effects of how important it is to manage yourself outside the gym before going into the gym, so that day I done it. I worked up to heavy 1 rep max in the deadlift, which was
280, something like that.
Over 200.
280.
Comfortable.
270.
And then I went into a WOD which involved about 10 rounds of 10 pull-ups, 10 deadlift at about 130 and 10 cal row.
Story.
It was just purely deadlift. And then obviously done my back in like halfway through the session. I should never have done that session because the whole night before I was up with a 2-year-old sleeping on the floor, not a wink of sleep, didn't have any food before going into gym. All that kind of stuff, going in massively stressed, and it still didn't stop me doing that session. So
that's dads at bang, though, isn't it?
It's dads at bang.
Chat shit and get bang once a month. That's what we do.
Goggins mode and thought, do you know what? Because I've had a shit night's sleep, I almost went into the Goggins mode of because I've done all that, I'm going to do this workout to prove a point that I'm mentally tough enough to do the session, even though I shouldn't be doing it. What happened? Kind of pull me back out, slip me disc again, and then try to do some mobility videos with you on the Sunday.
So I look at it like...
So it's, don't do it. For me, it's definitely people
So what, practice what you preach? If say you got someone who never practices what they preach.
Yeah.
Do you listen to them?
I know plenty of people like that.
Exactly. So I like to look like things like, if you looked at Usain Bolt, like, because I think there's a bit of an expectation sometimes, especially in my area, that if you can't do it, then you shouldn't be teaching it. And sometimes I think like, it's not the case, right? Usain Bolt's coach didn't run a 9-second 100 meters, right? But I sort of feel like that
depends.
You don't always have to be able to do it, but I feel like there should have been a time when you're
you'd think that
maybe would have been close to doing things, or like if you're a nutritionist, I think at some point in your life you should have been on it and living what you're telling people to do. I agree what you're saying
because experience counts for a lot of stuff. Yeah. Isn't it? So going through the process yourself.
Yeah, you should go on through the process to be able to understand. Yeah. Like what you're saying,
and that's
the
what
same
really
with like
pushed
gym
me in
bods
terms
and stuff.
Of S&C stuff when I'd done my back and I went through that year process and it got me out of having surgery, and I'd done it myself, and I was like, I can actually. It gave me an opportunity to practice what I preach properly on a really kind of intense level, and best thing I've ever done. Because now you get so many people. It's less now. You see better people when they do a deadlift, heavy squat, whatever, and they're like, never doing it again. Pull me back doing it.
In fact, it's the opposite, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You need to load it. You need to condition it. You do it in a different way. And it's
key word is like too much. Yeah. The too bit is the word.
Yeah, but again,
too little, too much.
Yeah. And I think
get somewhere in the middle.
There's usually probably there's stuff outside of them doing that in the gym that's actually caused that.
Yeah.
You know, but they won't look at that. No. They just won't ever lift again. And
I know. They'll come into. I've had people come into the gym. I'm one of it. My back hurts. What have you been doing today? Well, I've been laid down for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And this is the first thing I've done today. Mess my back up. Cheers.
So, yeah.
Mate, how about try not lying down all day?
That.
Eating Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing. Or chicken from KFC.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Stuff like that.
It's true, you know, but everyone's going to blame that.
Yeah, everyone looks at it at the moment
and
when
then
they
everyone will blame CrossFit because they done it in a CrossFit class.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you're like, no, you've been being a keyboard warrior for the last 12 hours. Yeah. You've got a crap night's sleep, you've had no lunch, and then you've come in and tried to do 1 rep max deadlift or squat, and you've come off like walking like John Wayne afterwards, and you're just like, that's not what you've done in the gym. That's shit prep.
I like to see people practice what they preach, at least to like a degree. I think even in our gym, so we have the coaches. So in terms of coachability, to be able to do a movement, I don't think it's being all and end all that they need to be able to do it. As long as they can deliver it well and they're well qualified, it's fine. But in terms of like programming and things like that, I've like programmed for our gym now for like 6 years, which I think is a rarity now because a lot of gyms now outsource their programming, which is fine. Like they buy it from whatever source, which I think is good. I think it's good as an add-on. I do it with like other gyms, but it's not our main class programming because you learn so much from that. But then I do that training myself.
Yeah.
And I think there's a whole thing of like a lot of coaches or athletes and stuff or like gym owners might deliver programming themselves saying, right, this is what you're going to do as a class. And then you'll never ever see the coach or that doing that programming.
Yeah.
And then you get like members and athletes asking, going, well, why are you not doing it? And it's like, oh, well, no, I'll do this. This is better. Well, it's like, I'll be going, well, I'll do that then.
Yeah.
If it's better, I'll do what you're doing.
If it's someone like you who's competing.
Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, I'll do what you're doing because it's better than what you're giving me because otherwise you'd be doing it. But it's not the case. I use my programming as like a trial and error. I'm normally like 8 weeks ahead of whatever you guys are doing. So if I'm like doing new squats and stuff, like I was working with a powerlifting coach and stuff, we started doing all this like weakness training and stuff, and I've started to filter that into the classes and stuff now because I've done it. And I'm like, right, okay, yeah, that's going to work. And then especially with your kit and limitations of the gym and stuff, because like when you buy generic programming, they miss a lot of stuff out because not a lot of gyms have everything like available to them. Do you know what I mean? From GHDs to axle bars and chains. Safety, I mean, we lose a lot of like stuff. Chains and like sleds and all this sort of stuff, and you miss out on that sort of thing when you buy out. Yeah, but I'm one for practicing what you preach.
Oh no,
I do what I ask people to do.
Without doing CrossFit for several years, I wouldn't be able to rehab it the same as I do now. And I find that I've seen people go and see other physios, and with a rotator cuff issue and this, that, and the other, and get rehabbed, and they've sorted the rotator cuff issue, but the person still can't do a certain movement overhead.
So it's going to come back.
They don't understand the demands of CrossFit.
Yeah.
So for me, after doing it for years, I know how to change the rehab and program the rehab from my point of view.
Yeah.
In order to make that better. So that's why it works so well in terms of me treating the CrossFitters.
Yeah.
Because I understand what they're doing in class because I've done it.
Yeah.
So you're exactly right.
Well, we get that with like, there's a guy you're asking as well, avoiding common injuries, like when you're middle age. So, I mean, you'll see it. I see it from my perspective. When I see, if you get older people that have come in, older, they've lived longer, their issues that they've had, chances are is lifestyle choices or whatever. So say that I've been digging or whatever for 30 years. They come in, back's twisted, loads of imbalances. It's really hard to undo. It like takes a lot of work to undo that stuff. So their movement mechanics is poor. Right, it's poor. So what they start to do is originally when they first come in is they start to move, and they get a general sort of idea of how the movement is, but it could be a lot more efficient and like better. And then I always sort of feel like I always say to them, it's like just because you can do it like that now, that's got a lifespan. You're gonna break.
It's a means to an end.
You're gonna break. Especially like, you're more susceptible to it because you're older, and when you break, you like take longer to come back and all that sort of stuff. So like movement mechanics and stuff for like older generations is so much more important than like pushing the weight on and stuff. And I see that so much with people, like, because again, they come in with the grit, like, let's go. And they'll move like, not horribly, that's not the word, well, whatever. Some are horrible, but some, it's less efficient. You're thinking, give that 3 months, that's breaking. And then you're looking again going, I'm breaking all the time.
You know, because again, they'll only be able to progress so far as well. You know, they'll get to a point where like, I can't lift anymore, not because of injury, but because I can't. It's like, well, it's because you need to learn to move better.
You need to move better.
There's a whole reason it's done in a certain way, because that's how you need to do it, right?
And, it takes time, all that sort of stuff. But it's like, as a business, that's hard to push across to people sometimes. Because people
see all the cool stuff,
ain't about just stopping and going back to working empty barbells and stuff like that.
Now, when you've got to tell them that they've got to take a step back, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
We like when I scale in my gym, I'll give them something where they can move okay with. Like, so say a barbell snatch. It's like, all right, you're not barbell snatching. Because I want them to get the workout. Like, you'll dumbbell snatch now, and you'll move a little bit better for it because it's a bit freer and things like that. And then you give them what they get their workout, they get that stimulus, but they're not necessarily bothered about the high skill elements and stuff.
But then again, that's where CrossFit's different, because not only you teach in a less technical movement, you've then got to kind of, as you said, match that stimulus of doing it under volume, intensity, which you don't get from any other sport. So that's what they need to understand as well. It's like, we're not only just doing that. In terms of you doing what CrossFit is, you've got to be able to do this, but with all these demands on top. So it makes it even more important that we set you back. Do you know what I mean?
I love it. I love the challenge of it. I love programming now. Like,
I prefer getting less skilled people come in with injuries, because you feel like I can push them more and change them more. You know, when you get the high level stuff, it's all like yourself. It's kind of all fine tweaking. And a lot of the time, we don't talk specifically about certain exercises. A lot of the time when I talk to you, it's just about jigging your programming, isn't it?
Mine really? Now is because my age affects me. I've got a big capacity. I done a workout before I last saw you. Perfectly fine doing it, but it was too much. It was just too much volume.
Yeah,
I move pretty well, but then I get in. Well, that's just like, I'm not 25 anymore. I I can't fucking smash myself into the ground unnecessarily.
There's no point me.
There's like a time for it, and I just couldn't hold it. Body falls apart.
Movement wise, for you, I'm gonna pick out very little. You know, it might be a time where something's kind of stuck tight, whatever, and I've got to manipulate. But I'm not gonna go and say your technique's rubbish because it's not. So for me, it's then right. Well, what are you doing? What is your training regime? Right, avoid this, increase this, reintroduce this when we see you next week, and then it's just jigging the programming. Because you might not realise that it's that's tipped you over the edge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So again, for me, it's easier, but that's why the amateur stuff's better because I can then mess around with a little bit more.
What else is fun to talk about? Did you have anything fun to talk about?
CrossFit specific. I don't know what hot topics are in CrossFit at the minute.
Importance of a cool down?
What about the classic ones, like the whole no rep at all?
No rep bastards.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, there's loads. So if what is it? There's the non-CrossFitters saying that that's not like.
What, like pull-ups or something?
Oh yeah.
Butterflies or anything like that. They'd always be like, and not one rep was done. And then there'll be CrossFitters rating other people's.
Mm-hmm.
So like
I
saw Matt, what's his name? Big guy, like doing handstand push-ups, and he did like 80 or something. Yeah. And at the end, he pointed at the camera and was like, "If you judge my reps, then you're." So
they move it around, don't they? So I can't remember what documentary on it was, but it was like their guys. They make it so it's non-comparable for a reason. Because it's not meant to be the same. So like pull-ups, let's say like professional pull-ups would be calisthenics, right? Let's say that, like they're absolute weapons at it, right? Yep. So you don't compare yourself to them because it's slightly different because they kip and things like that, which is like a competition movement, right? So straight away it becomes non-comparable. So they can't go, oh, well, it's not 50 strict. It's like, yeah, it's not. It's that. And the same with swimming. If they do the swim or something, there's always some little tweak to it, like they're swimming with fins. Or they're like kayaking or something, so the swimmers can't go, oh, it's like. So
do they do that so they don't get that kind of?
Yeah, because it's separate because you do it full scrutiny under like same with the snatches and like Olympic lifting it's it in a nutshell, but it's different. Like there's standards of like Olympic lifting. Hardly any of the lifting would be accepted, like in CrossFit terms, because there's rules that aren't happening, and then the form. Yeah, and then the format of it, they change it so it's like, okay, so it's different. So even though they've just done one at the Games, which was as close to an Olympic total as what you could get, where they snatch and then clean and jerk, but it was all done like in time intervals and stuff like that. So it's like it's close, but not. So it sort of makes it like, okay, it's not the same.
They're not doing weightlifting, they're doing CrossFit.
Yeah, you're doing CrossFit. It's not. Yeah, you're not doing calisthenics.
And I think that's where people get.
You're not doing gymnastics. You're doing CrossFit.
Yeah, and that's where people get confused. I think it's kind of you're exactly right. It's kind of they look at it and think, and it's like the cycling and stuff like that. But that's why they do the mountain biking instead and chuck it in with.
It'd be like CrossFitters going to going to swimmers are going, but they're not wearing fins. Doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It'd be the same sort of thing.
Yeah. I think people get confused with it because then the whole tagline with CrossFit is the fittest on earth. So then they start picking holes out the skill stuff because they're like, well, how's that fitness? But that's because it was branded so long time ago.
I think it's a good test. The only way you test it is by pulling non-CrossFit athletes to do like almost like a decathlon sort of thing.
CrossFit
Same
is
sort of thing. You weightlift, you run,
for me,
you swim, you bike, you do this, and then you go like that. See who comes up on top.
If you're going to do a true test of who's the fittest,
you need people from all the different areas.
You'd have like a whole year, and you'd be like, right, this month we're doing the Tour de France. The next month we're going to do strongman. After that's for CrossFit Games. After that, and then you just go.
But how would they CrossFit? How would they train for that? You train like a CrossFitter.
Yeah,
you do everything.
You train for Tour de France.
You do everything.
So if you were truly finding the fittest person on earth, you have to do every discipline, not just CrossFit. But a CrossFit will say that. You know, do you know what I mean? So I think people get confused because they see the tagline "the fittest on earth." They're like, "Oh yeah, well it's not, is it?" But I was like, "Well no, but this is how it was branded, and it's obviously worked because people have bought into it." You know, but CrossFit is CrossFit. CrossFit isn't anything else.
Yeah.
Whereas people assume that because they're doing cycling in it, they compare it to the Tour de France. Whereas if they're doing running in it, they compare it to the Olympics, and it's like it's not. CrossFit's its own thing.
Yeah.
I used to like it in its raw form. Again, programming wise, it was terrible. But when they used to just chuck it in terms of Tumblr and just pull stuff, yeah. I mean, like that, I thought had something about it in terms of from a fitness wise, like literally finding out there and then. Like I said, programming wise, awful. But in terms of fun, that's something that would really interest me from a fitness point of view. I like the idea of that, being adaptable and stuff.
Yeah.
When it was at the ranch back in the day. Now I think, how far do you think they've got to push? Because this is where I think they don't need to change CrossFit. And this is probably where I've seen, me personally, not been disappointed in what they've done with it. I think they're just pushing the skill stuff too much now. I think they've got so much in there. But when they're doing the kind of things where they're flipping over the bar and then they're doing a handstand wall around this, I know they want to progress it, but how far there's so much stuff in it, you can progress it just by messing around with other stuff. I think people see that and it's almost coming across a bit circusy now.
I think it's got to be careful not to be gimmicky.
Yeah, exactly. It's right on the cusp after the last games when they had all that skill stuff. I like the idea of the skill stuff, but I think it's teetering on that kind of, it's getting a bit... Do you know what I mean? When they're doing the crossover double unders and stuff, I'm just like, for me, I don't know.
Testing skill and coordination.
Which
is one of their pillars of
depends how you read into it.
Coordination. And
I'd like to see more fitness-based stuff with all the stuff they've already got. Do you know what I mean?
It's getting more and more less just barbell. At the games it is anyway. At the games it is.
Yeah, it is getting more varied.
It's more varied in terms of that. Yeah. They put the extremes in there now more than they ever have. Like you have a running event and then it's straight into like a lifting event, whereas before they might merge it.
When they run after a kilometre less than what they say they're going to.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Like they've all gone really quick,
Yeah, so you get like the people that would normally be like always in the top, you start to get the specialists come up, which is interesting.
No, it's good. It's good because then you see that actually you do have people better suited in different areas of CrossFit and they generally do better in certain events. As long as the points are weighted accordingly and it's not just... oh yeah, the person who's done really well in the endurance event's got 10 points, but if you win the weightlifting event, you get 100. Do you know what I mean? So as long as it's weighted evenly across there, then fine. That's what I always found most impressive about Matt Fraser, was that not only would he go and smash all the weightlifting stuff, is that you see him do the 7K trail run, and he'd win that as well.
Yeah, it's mental.
I mean, that's ridiculous. And that's why he won it over there. So that's what I found impressive about him. And that's where you can truly say, do you know what, he's won it on merit, because actually he's averaged top 10 finish in all the other stuff, as well as the heavy stuff.
In all the weird stuff.
All of
they're
it.
Still up.
He was terrible at running one year, come back the next year and he finished like in the top 3 in the running event.
Smashed it.
I mean, that for me is like a true...
Like me at running.
Yeah.
I'm good at running.
Yeah. You're still doing a 30-minute 5K. Yeah, sure.
I think I cocked it up though. I think the time.
You must have got that wrong, mate. There's no way you're doing a 30-minute. I was chatting to one of the patients about it. She said,
"I'm going to smash a granny out of it when I retest it, though."
Yeah, let's go. Let's do a 5K run. I'll pace it for you. There's no way you've done a 30-minute 5K. That's ridiculous. Even for you, that's terrible.
We don't know. It's not terrible. There are other athletes that do 30 minutes, and you are doing well. Well done.
Strong then. Strong then.
Yeah, Eddie Hall doing a 30-minute 5K.
Eddie Hall bang it faster than me.
Yeah. No comment.
Ross Edgley.
Oh, mate, he's the... Who do you prefer over Ross Edgley and Dave Goggins?
Oh, David Goggins. I like the way he talks.
Oh, see, I like Ross.
Yeah.
For me, I like him because he's more sports science based.
Are they perfect, aren't they?
I don't know what Ross Edgley, I think, is just like sports science based.
That Goggins bloke, you've seen Goggins, haven't you?
Yeah, I know Goggins.
He kept failing it for ages, but it was like his mindset that he was the only person to ever just keep doing it back to back or something until he passed. Because everyone else would just fold after, just chin it.
The thing is, he's bordering on the kind of, he's going to kill himself one day.
I like it. He's mental.
The mental toughness, don't get me wrong, he's got loads of weight to it, but there's a limit. Have you ever heard the story about him doing his first 100K or 100
when
mile
he broke
run?
his leg and just kept running with it.
Done that.
He's got a handprint in his shin where he's
80 miles,
just holding his legs together.
He was pissing blood.
Yeah.
And his wife or whoever at the time was a nurse saying, you need to step out, you've got kidney failure. And then he went off and done another 20 miles.
Yeah, smashed out.
And then he got dragged to A&E after. I was like, that's not good. That to me is too much. Whereas Ross Edgley is more sports science, and he's like, I know where the body's limits are, and he's pushed himself. So Lloyd, have you not seen any Ross Edgley stuff? No, he's the type of person who done.
Ross Edgley.
Did he do
gradually
something stupid like a
Ross? No, not Ross Edgley.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either.
I was supposed to speak for a minute.
Yeah, but he does stupid stuff, doesn't he? He does Didn't he do like a marathon round racetrack whilst pulling a mini or something?
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He's doing loads of swimming ones at the moment, isn't he? He done one in a country where it's like swimming in a bath almost. It's something, yeah.
He tied like £100 log to his back and swam from one Caribbean island to another.
Yeah.
He swam around the whole
log
of the UK.
float though, be easier, wouldn't it?
No, I think because the current and the water resistance against it.
Not sure about that.
Boats float. Would you like to carry a boat?
Yeah, but
exactly.
the waves have probably pushed the boat. The waves have pushed the boat, probably, if you get a current right.
Well, that's it, because he had to do it a couple of times because the current, he done further distance than what he was meant to, but the current kept pushing him back.
I don't like fish.
You're not a swimmer?
I like swimming, but I don't like sharks or fish or...
Open water stuff?
Yeah. If it gets cold, I'm not after it.
Ponds, the big lake thing?
I don't mind a lake, as long as there's no pikes in it.
Oh, pike wouldn't bite, yeah.
Well, I think they do bite. Everyone said they have teeth.
Only when you catch them.
Exactly.
Have you never been pike fishing?
No, I don't do fishing. I'm cool.
Really cool, yeah.
I've
No,
got
a pike won't come and
baseball
bite you
cap on.
just in a lake, mate. Like, it's it goes for like little fish that are about that big.
Is it?
Yeah, no, a pike. The only people
Still
who get
not
caught
doing
is people who catch it and then try and take the hook out of the mouth.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't do fishing anyway.
Voice of experience. Yeah, not cool enough.
Scared by was it Sword in the Stone, the animated one where he
Yeah, like that. Yes, or the ones out of Little Mermaid. Eels.
Oh, yeah. It was right.
Not conger eel. Electric eel.
Well, yeah, same difference.
seen Little
There
Mermaid?
were wheels. But yeah, open water swimming over here, it's fine. Around Great Britain, you'll be fine. So when I went holiday to Egypt in a garden 2 weeks before, that Russian lad got eaten. Like literally 20 minutes down the coast. They're the ones that decide to get their phones out and film it all.
Film what?
The guy getting eaten.
By what?
Shark. Tiger shark. So I went on holiday in Egypt. 2 weeks before that, a Russian bloke literally just out from the shore got attacked by a tiger shark and eaten in front of everyone.
Okay.
And so all the waters were shut off when we went.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't go in the water there.
The sharks.
Yeah. But tiger sharks, they're the ones you've got to look out for. They're the ones going around attacking everyone at the minute.
Bull sharks as well.
But great whites don't really, they'll just bite you thinking you're a
We looked
seal
it up.
and
It's
bugger off.
50. There's been 50 deaths ever from great whites.
Yeah.
Ever.
No,
Still bothered by it though.
Yeah, you still wouldn't go swimming in South Africa, I think, would you? Yeah, because once you have one attack, they seem to do loads of them.
I was going to say, what do you think about Gymshark athletes?
I know one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who?
I was a girl.
Yeah, girl Charlotte Lamb.
That one. Charlotte Lamb.
Yep. Would in terms
Lottie
of
Lamb.
Yes.
As in, there's that geezer who swam around the whole of the UK. That's
Ross Edgley.
Yeah, Ross Edgley. That's that fella.
him?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
He's a unit.
Right, okay.
Oh, mate, he's a tank. He must be quite short, but for someone to do that much endurance stuff and be that,
He's a tank.
you know what I'm thinking. That's some
Weebics.
serious nutrition. So what in terms of just general fitness industry stuff?
Just like, are they impressive? Are they?
Yeah, it's visual, isn't it? It's a different goal, isn't it? I think it's aesthetics, isn't it? Is the goal, and they look alright.
That's
good.
it.
Depends on your goal, doesn't it? Bodybuilding's
That's why you get a lot of these high roxy people now, where you've got jacked people doing functional fitness stuff. Is it that Ollie Marchon? Have you seen his stuff?
Yeah, Marchon, yeah.
Absolute unit. And all he posts is endurance training. And you look at it like, you don't get that size doing endurance training.
Their stuff's kicked off like through COVID, I think.
Yeah, and
they've
that's
got like online training programs and stuff. They've got another. Their gym's really cool. I always look at their videos, like, because I like the way his gym's all set out.
Oh, really? I mean, they use all the same.
Got a new one in
equipment.
Stratford, I think.
Do you think those type of people have seen something like CrossFit and thought, oh, there's an opportunity, or they've looked at CrossFit, tried CrossFit, failed at CrossFit because technically they're nowhere near it, and then set up something like this?
I don't know. I think it's a natural progression to like.
I think it's
if you appeal to the masses, to the masses, and it's a better business formula than just like narrowing into.
It's clever.
Just functional fitness stuff.
So to have one concurrent event that you can train for, and then have a set goal that you can easily program
you could do everything. If you got like venue size, like all this high rock stuff, so many more people. You open your doors to so many more people.
Yeah,
because it's basically running. Like if you can,
it's
run,
a running event.
You could get loads of like runners that you wouldn't normally get in.
And you look at all the people who win all the high rock stuff. They look like, apart from that Hunter McIntyre who gets what he's just like again a one off, but all the others just like runners.
Yeah.
They're not.
There's strength bits to it, obviously, but like, if you're a good runner,
no, I like it all. I like the idea of, because CrossFit has got so technical now, it almost whittles down the people who can do it to that level because of the technical side of it. So I like seeing people who don't necessarily have to just see their general fitness. Like, it's just raw, isn't it? Just kind of pure. But like I said, for me, running in terms of functional fitness is up there with probably the most kind of important one, just because when you look at it kind of through the years and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's what I would like to see more in the CrossFit Games, more running events, not necessarily pure running, but stuff that involve running more. However, they're not stupid in terms of entertainment value. Running's boring, isn't it? Let's be honest. And people go to CrossFit because they don't like running.
I think they should do sprints and on the sprint yet. I think
there
should be like 100 metre on a track style, like athletic style, because they're all power athletes, aren't they?
Yeah,
so it's like perfect for it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see actually sprint.
Watch a motor, see what sort of paces they can
They're
get.
kind of built more like sprinters, didn't they? What'd you do? Just 100 metre or chuck in a 200 and 400 metre as well?
Chuck in 100.
Just 100?
Yeah.
Or 60 metre sprint?
What's less anaerobic? Well, Olympic athletes are like, it's anaerobic, isn't it? 400's like anaerobic, isn't it?
It's right on the cusp. That's what's so difficult because it crosses the two paths, isn't it? So 400 to 800 are the two hardest distances apparently because energy systems. Yeah. 100 or 200 metres.
I'd like to see 100 metres. I'd like to see him boom it.
I wonder, do you know what? I reckon you'd see some better times across 200 metres because I think it would take a few of them to get up to speed, but once they're up to speed, they're quick. So 200 metres would be interesting as well. I reckon. Who'd you reckon?
Straight after squats.
Yeah.
Well, this is the only thing. They couldn't just do 200 metres, could they? They're going to do that and then you've got to do like 50 bar muscle ups.
Yeah. Have to be the first event, otherwise everyone will be getting injured.
But I'd like to see their times just on a pure... They probably wouldn't do it because then it would be compared to...
They done one, what's his name? I think it was Ricky Garrard, and he done it in his training and banged it in about 10...
Yeah.
Top end of 10 seconds or something, like just under... Something like that, 11 seconds or something.
It's quick.
It's fast. It's fast.
Quick. But again, we're talking about the fittest people in the world and this, that and the other.
But then they're built like...
Yeah.
Sprinters are big, they're not small.
Because when you said about when they've done the 5K and they're getting some really good times on it, I'm like, yeah, but you're talking about what is the best athletes in the world. They should be in those times. Yeah, albeit it's 4.5K.
90 kilo gators.
But yeah, I'm like, Hunt McIntyre, who does the high rock stuff, he's 200 pounds worth of blow. And he runs his 1K splits in like 320.
Decent.
Which is just like, that's 15, 60 minute 5K pace. That's quick.
It's rapido, yeah.
For that distance, for someone of his size. So, it's, but again, you'd put him up there. Because he done CrossFit Games one year, didn't he? He got a wild card entry and then they decided to put hands down event right on one of the first ones. So he got chalked off.
Yeah.
They should have just done some raw stuff first and then give him a chance.
And he offers out.
Nah. But he should have just qualified like everyone else, really. Yeah. That's why they have that in there. But yeah, I'd like to see kind of 100 metre sprint with him. Maybe they just do 90 metre sprint so it don't cross over. 150 metre sprint.
Indoor, innit? What's indoor? 110?
60 metre.
60.
110's hurdles.
Okay.
60 metres indoors.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, one lap of the track though. But yeah, with the curve wall and everything, it'd be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah. I'd watch it. So general fitness industry stuff. Yeah, just got loads of it at the minute, haven't you? Do you think, because this is why I stopped CrossFit initially, is that at the time, because of all the high intensity stuff, I was losing too much weight.
Why you stopped it?
Yeah. And then I just went to more strength training.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You get it wrong. Like, you have to do it. I do all my stuff for like percentages.
Yeah. Now my body, because I'm older, I can hold weight better.
Yeah.
But at the time, that's why. So does anyone ever go into CrossFit and then come back out of it because aesthetically it doesn't necessarily get what you want out of it?
Yeah, because we're not aesthetics focused. We do a little bit of bodybuilding and stuff, but more for like health and joints and stuff. It's performance based for us. But yeah, people like, because Joe, my wife, works with nutrition. It's always about aesthetics. It's always about visual for people initially.
That's
and like you almost have to sort of say, look, this type of training, you will look a certain way, but you're sort of just a byproduct of whatever the training is. Like you're going to be fitter and stronger and faster, but you might not look the way you want to look. But that's the sport you've chosen to. That's what we are. I don't try and blend it into something else. It's like, because otherwise it's like you're neither nor anything. Yeah. So it's I
think you see the CrossFit Games athletes and assume that you're going to end up looking like them just for doing CrossFit, and you're just like exactly what you said. What you don't see is that 75% of their training is all just lifting weights.
Yeah.
It's not actually all the cardio stuff
and the food
and the food and the nutrition.
Yeah. What you said about losing weight. You lost
So,
size.
yeah.
Yeah, so like that, when we do our programming, generally speaking, when we're in our big strength phases, I'll program the WODs off of percentages so that no one's
makes sense
going above their percentages. So we only really go off of what would be the current RX standards as a sort. And RX is basically whatever you say RX is at the time. But in the competition field, you can sort of get a feel for what's the level now. Yep. So the only time when I really start to push that is when we get into the fitness phase. And it's like, it is what it is.
Yep.
You need to get used to lifting these weights, whatever percentage it is now.
Yeah, once you've built your strength, you just maintain it.
But you're trying, like, it's like if you want to compete RX, this is what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
Like, so get used to it. But ultimately, when you're building strength, it's like, don't go too heavy.
Yeah.
Like, stay, because it's like I say, it's a cardio, it's a, what do you call it, aerobic. Like, so your heavy barbell in like CrossFit is 60, 70%. Yeah. That's heavy. That's like your heavy, that'd be a heavy barbell. Just because it's saying 120, they're going in there and they're banging 120 cleans. That's because it's 70, probably round about 60, 70% of their 1 rep maxes.
But that's it again. That's why I think CrossFit's difficult, because it's kind of like the 400-800 meter kind of sprint sort of distance. It's where it's crossing loads of different energy systems. Yeah. So how do you train? And that's the skill to it. And that's where you find the fittest all-round athlete, because you're testing all those disciplines, but you're almost testing them all in one WOD sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're kind of doing a heavy clean, but then you've got to go and do a 400 meter lap of the track or something like that, and then chuck. So that's that adaptability of the body and switching between energy systems and this, that, and the other. But you can't really mimic that too much in terms of training. No. But I think people try to, and that's where they come unstuck with injuries and stuff. It
ends up being negative. End up losing muscle mass.
Yeah, and that's what happened. I was still lifting and strength gains and stuff, but I was just losing weight just because of the volume and intensity of training. And for me, it's not a good recipe. I train to keep weight on.
Yeah, get massive.
Yeah, apart from now, man.
Die trying.
Yeah. Cool. Now I'm getting old, mate. Weight stays on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So's mine.
Well, I see you enjoying that, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to do social media handles where people can find you?
Find Adam. What did you say, Lloyd? You say it, Lloyd.
Say who you are, and if you want to find our socials, or if you want to find us.
If you want to find us on our socials, go to Artemis FFG on Insta, and that's it.
There you go.
Yeah,
say classy. Yeah, you say that.
Might do one.
Yeah.
From Dad Bod and Blob.
From
Dad Blob.
Dad Blob.
I like that one. Dad Bod and
I'll do an outro. Yeah, Luke from Physiotherapy Essex. If you want to find us on socials, just go to @PhysioEssex and find us on Instagram.